What's going on, filmmakers? I'm Alexander Don, and today I want to show you my studio, but not the whole studio because it's a mess right now. Only the lights that I use in order to achieve the image that you see right now. So I'm gonna do like a lighting studio tour. Now let's begin. The first thing that I use is the camera that you're seeing right now, which is the Sony FX6, but I usually use the Sony FX3 as well, and I pair it up with lenses like 35 1.4 or 24 1.4. And whenever I'm filming more complex stuff, I have a second camera with a zoom lens, like the 24 to 70 f2.8. Now moving on to this huge light right here, which is a Sforza 500 with a softbox. Now this light is super powerful. I'm gonna show it right now. So I have this light set up at 11%, which is a fairly small amount, but if I had to crank up the lights more, then I will fill the whole studio with light. I'm gonna show you right now. So for example, if I crank it up to 50%, I'm gonna lose a lot of the separation and a lot of the contrast that I have in the image. So that's why I keep my lights to 11%, because this way I don't have a lot of spill. Even though I can use a grid or anything like that, I keep it up without the grid because it helps me whenever I have big products on here and so on. Next thing that I use is backlight. So even though I have a lot of lights right here, I still use a backlight, and the backlight is right here. It's a Forza FS60B, which is super good for studio. It's not expensive, it's super cheap, and it does the job really well. Now this one is set up on 30%, something like that, and whenever I sit down, it gives me a little bit of shoulder light and a little bit of hair light right here. And it helps me create a more three-dimensional image. In the back, I have a lot of lights which help me make this space look a little bit better. I have this string lights from Jisk, I think I got them. They're super nice and easy to use, and they give a little bit of a nice vibe in the background. I also have a light from IKEA, and inside of the light, it's a nanolight bulb, which I can control from my phone. I can change the colors and so on. But I like it on this yellow color that it has right now. Moving on the desk. So this is not an operational desk. It's here only for design. It's just a monitor with a few things here, which I tried to use, but I ended up not using. So this is the DaVinci Resolve Speed Editor, which I don't use, I don't like it. And this is like a controller that I got from Monogram, and it's pretty cool, but I don't use it. Now, these two lights are Nanlite 15X, and I really love them because they are super easy to use and the battery holds quite a lot. So whenever we film here, we end up shooting like 3 or 4 videos in a day, and they hold up pretty well for like a few hours because we're using them at only 33%, and at 33% it gives us an estimation that it will hold like 5 hours. So that's more than enough for us. And now moving on to this beast right here, which is one of the most powerful lights that I have. So you can see me, I'm gonna flip this a little bit. So this light is a monster. Let me show you. So this is the Nanlux Evoke 1200B. Now this is one of the most powerful lights I have ever seen, and one of the biggest. Like, check how big it is. It's huge, and it's also very heavy. So the reason why we keep it in the studio is because I like how it looks. So it's also a very nice practical light with this big Fresnel right here, but it's also super controllable. Like right now it's on 0.2%, which is like very, very low. So I can go at 0.01%, and this is one of the things that you get whenever you pay a little bit extra. So this light is very expensive, but because it's very expensive, it's also very professional. so you can control this light very good. And because it's an Evoke 1020B, it means it's by color. So I can change its temperature, I can set the temperature as I want, but I kind of like the warm temperature that it has because it gives me to the retro vibes. And whenever I'm sitting down on the chair and you see this in the background, it looks very nice as a practical light. But it's also extremely bright. Let me show you. So I told you it's at 0.2%. Now we're gonna crank it up to 100%. So you can see how bright it is. It's absolutely crazy. It lights up the whole studio and it's mind-blowing. I'm gonna test this one day outside because it's extremely powerful. But I like it as a practical light for now. And overall, this is it. I try to keep it minimal, but also try to make it look as cool as I can. And you may wonder why I don't have a light from this side. And that's because I want to keep the contrast bigger. I like a more contrasty image. And also, whenever I film products, I also like to give them a more contrasty looks. But there are a few instances where I use another light right here, and it's usually a Pava tube or a mixed panel or something like that. But overall, this was my studio tour, mostly my lighting tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and maybe next time I will clean up and show you the rest of the studio. It's not that big, but we make it work, so hopefully you enjoyed it. Peace.